Welcome to Running is Bullshit. I'm Stuart.
And I'm Amy, and you're listening to the podcast that loves to hate running. On this episode, we'll be talking about running when you're ill, which is something nearly all of us have been stupid enough to do at some point.
Yeah, this is one of those episodes based entirely around me and my experiences, because I've been ill. Again, I've had a cold for like the second time in a month, which is very rare for me. So I thought I'd make this all about myself, just to make myself feel a bit better, basically, by finding examples of other people being even more stupid. That's great.
Yeah, it's always good to compare yourself and think, I'm better than them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I need to have that superiority going on. I'm also on antibiotics again, which is not related to the being ill, but it's if you remember back in the podcast, was this before podcast? Not sure. Basically, get a little infected cyst in my back, had to be sliced out of me last time. That was a great night at the hospital. Then I had an open wound in my back for about 3 weeks. So trying to avoid that by getting on antibiotics really early. But I've got that thing again of like, you need to take these 4 times a day on an empty stomach. Who has an empty stomach 4 times a day?
Yeah, I don't understand that.
I'm an athlete. I'm a runner. I cannot possibly have an empty stomach 4 times a day. That's insane.
You'll faint.
So that's the nightmare I'm dealing with at the moment, and hopefully I don't have to have my back sliced open again, because that was very inconvenient. What have you been up? Have you been sliced? Anything getting to you this week?
No. Well, yeah, my legs have been sliced up, but more on that later.
Oh, more on that later.
No, but I do have something that's annoying me this week.
Cool.
So, this week, what is annoying me is ignorant dog owners who don't give me and Pippin space when we're running past.
Well, we might have covered this before.
But I want to cover it again. I want
to reiterate the point.
I want to reiterate the point because lately I've been getting up a bit later. I've been struggling to get out of bed really early. I normally like to do my runs early, but just lately I'm not into it. It's winter.
Lazy.
Yeah, lazy. I'm just being lazy. So we're going out for a run a bit later, about 10 o'clock. Too late. But it means there's just so many people about with their fucking dogs. And I try my best. Like, Pippin's always really overexcited and overstimulated when we're running. So I don't want her saying hello to every single fucking dog that we pass. So I pull her to the side of me so she's not, interacting with those dogs. What does the other person do? Just let their dog just go wherever they want, either on right at the end of their lead or off lead, which is even worse, getting all up in her face. Like, mate, wind your fucking dog back in. Sort it out. It drives me mad. It drives me absolutely mad. And you can see we're running. Like, I've got places to be. Why is your dog impeding
You're a busy woman. You're running.
I'm busy. I will say, though, the other day, a guy shouted at me to pick my dog's poo up. It was a wee.
Pick it up.
Yeah. Pippin stopped. Pippin stopped and did a really long wee. And this guy, firstly, he whistled at me to get my attention, which sent my blood pressure soaring. You can imagine. I'm not like, my blood pressure was soaring. And then he went, "You gonna pick that up?" Like that. And the funny thing was, he was with his girlfriend. And his girlfriend straight away went, "It's a wee," like that, like really embarrassed. I looked around and the look on my face, because firstly I was like, how dare you whistle at me sort of look. Like, I'm not a dog. And secondly, I was like, what are you talking about? And I just went, "It's a wee," like that. And he went really red. I thought, yeah. I was quiet, and I said, and then I was like, I do know how to pick up dog shit, thank you. And I know when it's a wee. I really want you to say, I know you don't know much about women's anatomy, but lady dogs, they have to squat to wee. Some male dogs do it too. I know it's really confusing for you. It was.
I guess he's just used to male dogs, and that's just.
I know.
But like, all at the same time, you're not the dog poo police, mate. Chill out.
No, you're not the dog poo police. But even if you were, excuse me, is polite. Not a whistle.
A whistle.
Oh, man. My blood was boiling. I came home, I'm like ranting away to Freya, and she's like, "Okay, we need to calm down and move on now." I'm like, "I'm not moving on, you whistled at me." I was so angry.
I will move on, but...
Yeah. I was so angry. Thankfully, because normally in those situations, I'm so taken aback that somebody has the bloody gall to say something so stupid. I'm so taken aback. I normally don't say anything, because I'm like, what? But in this situation, the whistle boiled my blood so hard. I was ready. I was ready for it. Anyway. Yeah, so they're the two things that have been annoying me. Ignorant dog owners and just ignorant people that don't know that female dogs squat to wee a lot of the time, and some male dogs.
Classic Amy start to the episode. Thank you. To the last episode, apologies to anyone called Al, that it looked like we were calling you bullshit. It wasn't. It was AI is bullshit. It's just unfortunate I and Al look the same. We had a message from I am Mattman on Twitter, who said, on the one hand, I enjoyed this episode, but on the other hand, you reminded me that no one cares about my running. That's always been true. I amuse myself by thinking that you could call your AI writer AI me genders and then everything was okay again.
Hey, that AI writer would
Perfect.
probably... AI Amy would probably do... AI me would probably do more work than me, so...
I mean, they absolutely would. Yeah, there's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
I'd get better content quicker.
Yeah, exactly.
It'd be so much easier. So, yeah, hopefully, once we get the voice sorted out, AI me genders will be on the podcast and you'll be off.
Definitely.
Something that AI me genders can't do is drink tea. Ooh. We're partnered with Bird and Blend, and that means we'll tell you what tea we're drinking. If you like the sound of it, you can go to runningisbs.com/tea, click on the links and buy some tea if you want. Amy, you drinking some tea?
I am. I'm having pink grapefruit again. I know I've talked about this on the podcast before. It's one of my favourites. I love pink grapefruit.
No, I'm not keen on grapefruit.
Well, Freya says it smells like cat pee, which it does a bit, but if you're into...
yeah.
And not a great advert for Bird and Blend.
You know what? But you know what? It's so good. Bird and Blend put actual cat piss in their tea, and that is what separates them from everyone else.
You can see the discoloration. But if you're into you know what I say, if you're into grapefruit, I don't particularly like grapefruit, but I like this.
If you're an old lady.
Yeah, it's nice. I really like it. It's nice and flavoursome, and it doesn't taste like cat piss, so don't worry.
Okay.
What are you drinking?
Grapefruit, I think, is always the worst of the gels.
Oh, I don't do gels, so I wouldn't know.
All right. Ooh.
What are you drinking?
I treated myself earlier to a lovely sticky chai latte. I had a load of milk left over, so I'm like, oh, I'm going to take advantage of that. Had me some nice sticky chai. And also I found some cream egg tea in my cupboard as well, so I had a bit of that as well.
Well, I've got some baby egg left over, so... Yeah.
I'm happy to be drinking sticky chai from Halloween and cream egg tea from Easter in February, just because I can. Because I've got a cupboard full of shit I need to drink.
It's nearly Easter, surely.
It's nearly Easter, it's fine.
Yeah, a couple of months away.
Amy, what have you been up to?
I went for a run this morning. I did one of my long runs.
That was a good long run. I'm impressed.
It was. I missed my long run last week. I didn't really do... I did like an 8-mile run in the week, but I didn't do a proper... Did I? I can't remember now what I did last week. I don't think I did. Or maybe I did. I don't know what I've been doing, but basically I feel like last week... I don't know where I am at the moment. Either way, I went this week for a long run. 16 miles, fairly, like a fair few hills and stuff. It wasn't completely flat, which was good. Slipped over once, yay! Slipped over, of course. Hurt my knee a bit. That's fine.
It's not like super wet. It's just super sticky at the moment, isn't it?
Oh, it was at Case Hill Woods, and the mud there is that they've got that proper slippy mud there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had a few slips, and then I did properly slip over. I walked way too much because I was actually doing
no such thing.
Yeah, well, I almost wore out my phone battery was almost completely dead when I was halfway through the run because I was doing WhatsApp voice notes. I don't know why anyone else does like really long voice notes, and no one fucking cares, but I do them. So I was actually talking about the guy that whistled me about the dog poo. So I was talking about that. So yeah, I was doing like a load of WhatsApp voice notes, like ranting away to people who don't actually care what I'm talking about. And then I realised I'd been walking for like half an hour, and I was like, oh yeah, I should probably start running rather than just having a little walk through the woods shouting.
Yeah, that's weird.
That is they are my runs, whether I'm on the phone to someone. If I'm not on the phone to someone, if no one's available or there isn't signal, I get on WhatsApp and I send like really shouty voice notes about things that are happening in my life.
Has to be done. I was quite impressed by your run on Strava. You know, it's a fairly small area, but you zigzag back and forth and probably got a little bit lost here and there, but yeah, add on the distance. You definitely made a lot more of an effort than I'd have done recently.
To be fair, with that place, and I wasn't lost, actually. I didn't get lost at all. I've been lost a few times there, but because I've been lost so many times there, I know it quite well now. It's one of those places that on a map, it looks like a fairly small area, and it is, but there's loads of trails. So you can make like quite a small area into quite a decent run where I don't think I did the same thing twice. I might have done like little bits twice, but I didn't do like loops, laps. So yeah, it's one of those places where there's lots of little trails you can go off on, which is quite nice. So yeah, that was my morning. Absolutely knackered. Took me 4.5 hours to do 16 miles. And then I got back and Freya's like, oh, I've got a shopping list for you to go to Morrison's. I mean, Morrison's absolutely stinking as well. Like, I was just like covered in mud and stuff and absolutely, covered in sweat and mud wandering around Morrison's, which is full of families and screaming kids on a Saturday. So that wasn't very pleasant afterwards. But otherwise,
going food shopping straight after a run before lunch is the best time, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The best time to buy a load of shit.
Absolutely, yeah. Because you can feel a lot more justified because you're like, do I need all those? Yeah, I do. Because usually you'd be like, no, probably don't need that. Probably don't. But then you're just like, yeah, fuck it, I'm having it all.
Yeah.
I love it.
That was exactly
I did that the other week. Usually I just use like a little wheelie basket because that's about enough. But I went for a big trolley. I thought, fuck it, I'm getting a big trolley because if you get a big trolley, you'll fill it up.
This is the thing, though. I've got to walk home, so I had to always make sure that I have enough. I can carry it, that was the only thing. Like, Freya wanted one of those big 18 packs of water. I'm like, no, just a litre. You just got to have a litre bottle. I can't carry the 18 pack today. I've just ran 16
you got a tap in the house, mate. It's fine.
No, I know. It's just too posh for that.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Anyway, what have you been up to?
I was supposed to be doing Canicross, but I didn't. William wasn't quite up to it, I don't think. I think he's been a bit tired and a bit stiff recently, and I was ill as well, so it wouldn't have been that exciting. It wouldn't have been a great weekend, so we didn't do that. Other than that, I guess it's just kind of the being ill, so we'll just move into the being ill bit. Mainly, for me, it was last Sunday I went for a run with Scabby Buckrack Collie and pod listener Cassie and her dog Oscar, and I had a really shit run up Mackin Mountain, South Wales. And it was one of those runs, in the morning, I was feeling a bit shit. I was still a bit of a cold, kind of a little bit of a cough. It was a cold day, and I went out. I thought, oh, fuck, you know what? I'll just go and do it anyway, because it'll probably be fine. It got to the point where, like, every time I coughed, it hurt. It was so bad. I regretted it. And of course, the first 10K or so was okay, but then I had to come back, and I was 10K. I was at the opposite end of where we'd parked up, so I had to run back. And it was just one of those really stupid runs. And I kind of think all the way around, I was thinking to myself, it's one of those runs that a lot of people would be like, oh, well, good for you for getting out there. You still went and did it. And I'm thinking to myself, no, we should normalize criticizing people. We shouldn't always be positive. We shouldn't always be encouraging. That was a stupid run. I should not have run. I think I did 20K. And as I said, it hurt when I cough. I was so slow up the hills. And it was just, I'm pretty sure I stressed my heart and lungs more than I exercised them. And it's just, on reflection, I should not have run it. And I do not encourage people. Anything when you've got a bit of chest problem, do not run. I mean, we're going to have some examples later on of people that do exactly that. But I was just thinking, do not praise me for this. I do not deserve it. This was stupid and it hurt. And I was slow and it was just very, very miserable.
And you're putting your body under stress when it's already trying to heal itself and sort itself out. Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. Then, of course, 3 days later, I thought, what would be a good idea is me, you and Jen Danger Harding, we can go for another 20K run.
Yeah.
And I was pretty much better by then.
Yeah.
And I thought, running with you guys, at least I'm not going to be behind the other two. I should be ahead this time so I can feel a bit better. Again, I can feel a bit better about myself, so that helps. We thought it'd be a great idea to go for a 20K run with quite a lot of elevation, what I like to call the Cardiff 3 Peaks Challenge, even though 2 of the peaks aren't actually technically in Cardiff, but, that it's a good name. We thought we'd do that. We thought that would be a lot of fun. It's a pretty good route. I've done it quite a few times. I took you guys up there for the first time. There's a little bit of road up to the top. We went through Forest Fire, up to Caerphilly Mountain, did our first one, got to touch Trig. That's always fun. Went on to the next one. The next peak is Craigracht. And that's a lovely one. That's one of my favourite hills I was going to say in Cardiff, but it's actually Cardiff area because no one goes up there basically. It's one of those, because it hasn't got a car park nearby. So it's just dog walkers and runners up there, which are just the best kind of people. And it's, a lot more quiet, apart from the road noise. It's quite quiet up there and you get really, really nice views and not many people. As we were heading up that hill, Jen started to say how she wasn't feeling very well. And we said, well, fair enough. When we get down to the other side of the hill, you're on the Taff Trail, then you can just follow that back to the beginning where we started, back to your car, and you can head home a bit early.
To be fair, she did say when she got out of her car when we met, I've got a headache. So that was
right, great.
That was foreshadowing.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, of course, yeah. And I got running with a headache again is such a bad thing.
Well, we were actually talking about this. Like sometimes, especially if your run's first thing in the morning, because we met at like 8 o'clock, sometimes it can just be a bit of dehydration from overnight.
Yeah.
You can sort of sort yourself out.
But then the running doesn't help dehydration.
No. But like if you've already taken on some water and you're drinking and stuff, then you know. But I think the sort of tension headaches she had, I had one before, like just after Christmas, and they just get worse and worse and worse when you're running. Yeah,
the impact of the run is not good. So we were okay, right, here's the way to get back. It's quite simple. You just follow this path. Me and Amy will carry on, do the rest of the run. As we came down the hill, it was quite exciting for me. I got to have Pippin on my on my harness, because we had the dogs with us. We had William, Rain, and Pippin with us. So we had all the dogs as well, which was great fun. And I forget, like, you down a hill, especially with Pippin, it's slower than walking speed. Because you're just like, no, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, because I am so clumsy. I will fall. Like, if I run top speed with Pippin, firstly, I'll fall. Secondly, my knee is terrible with stuff like that. Like, going downhill, I always find going downhill way worse than going uphill. I can, go uphill fine. It's the going downhill. And then I've got Pippin pulling me because she wants to run after all you guys. She was screaming going down the first hill.
She was, yeah.
You guys got up in front.
I'd run all the way down because I was taking a video. And then I heard all this barking behind me. I thought, oh shit. I turned back and went like a little bit of the way back. And Jen was like, no, it's just Pippin kicking off because she's getting left behind. Okay.
Yeah. Because it's just, I'm just so rubbish at running down hills. And whenever I do it alone with just Pippin, I'm like, Pippin, slow down. Pippin, careful. Like that. Cause
Poor Pippin.
She never gets to have any fun, but she did get to have fun this time.
Yeah. So I took her down one of the hills, and that was quite good fun. I got to have a little sprint with her as well, but she was not used to that. I was like, I overtook her. I'm like, no, come on. She's like, oh, this is what we do. Oh, and before that, we did get to find some lovely bushes, didn't we?
Oh my God. Yeah, we went through this trail that was just overgrown with brambles.
It's one of those trails that no one else had been through for quite a while.
Oh my God. But somehow, I know how Jen didn't get any cuts on her.
Well, the thing is, you were the last one through, so I don't understand how you were the one that got covered in cuts.
Mate, and these cuts were bad. Like, I've got cuts all over my legs. I've still got them now, like, properly scratched up, and there was loads of blood coming out of them.
I was wearing shorts, and I was going first.
Yeah, so it should have been you. Jen was wearing leggings, fair enough, but you were wearing shorts, and you didn't have anything on you. I've got cuts all up my leg. It was all blood. They nicked my shorts. Like, they pulled a thread out of my shorts. Like, absolutely. And then I got stuck in one. I've got all cuts all down my side as well, because I got stuck in this. A lot of them were just little, but this was like a thick bramble, and it wrapped itself around me to the point where I couldn't move forward or backwards without an immense amount of pain. It's all down my side. It's just like all cut up from this bramble. I don't know how it happened, but yeah, my legs are all sliced up.
Yeah, annoyingly, that is the correct trail as well. I know definitely, because I've often gone the other way, which looks more direct, but doesn't get you anywhere, and that's the correct way to go. But yeah, somehow it's just incredibly overgrown, and just apparently no one else uses it. So
you know what? If that was my regular route, I'd go down there and I would cut the brambles back. I would. I just saw it out because that was painful.
But still, somehow only you managed to do that.
I don't know why. I don't understand why.
So anyway, down the hill, I've still got Pippin with me. No, I think I'd passed Pippin back to you by then. So we're coming down the hill nicely. Jen's kind of getting a little bit slower, which I understand because she's obviously looking quite ill. And eventually, on the way down the hill, falls over.
Yeah.
But not just
which isn't
falls over.
unusual. That's not unusual
No,
for
that's
Jen.
true.
Jen falls over all the time on our trail runs. But it's the fact she didn't get back up.
She stayed down.
She stayed down.
And we were both like, oh shit. Because the way her head was on the floor as well, like, has she her head on the floor?
I thought yeah.
Yeah, I thought, because she just wasn't moving. I think the time she hit the ground, she was like, oh, that's nice. Yeah. I think she was quite happy on the ground.
Yeah. When you're that unwell and you fall, it's like, yeah, this is nice now. But I was coming down the trail, like, cause again, I'm rubbish downhill, so you guys were quite a way in front of me. So I could just, as I'm approaching, I can just see her laying down on the floor. And I'm like, this is not, I thought she'd hit her head because, like I said, whenever we go trail running, me and Jen, she falls over at least once usually, and she just gets back up again, you know? Yeah. So that was
and just
worrying.
apologises for it.
Yeah.
Over and over. But no, she just stayed down.
Oh, God.
Her dog, Rain, went over and gave her a little lick, which was very cute. And we kind of went, eventually she got back up. I think she had twisted her ankle a little bit.
Yeah.
And she was saying, like, oh, I'm kind of seeing double a bit. So that's fine. You guys carry on. And I'm like, no, like, you can't be running down a hill, seeing double, having to look after your dog, and then walk like a couple of miles back to the car on your own.
Yeah.
No, we're fine. And, we carried on down this quite narrow, sticky trail anyway. So we walked down there anyway. By the time we got onto the path, we were chatting. She's like, no, I'm fine. But like looking in 3 different directions at once. And we're like, mate, you are not fine. You look like shit. So we kind of, we didn't finish the run. We just kind of, we just walked back about 3K, wasn't it? So a couple of miles. It was, it was a nice day. It wasn't cold or anything. So we all just walked back together with the dogs and just went to a cafe instead, had a nice cup of tea.
Yeah,
it's a better way to finish a run.
I was actually really relieved because by that point my stomach was doing something terrible, and I thought, we joked about has anyone brought a little shovel out with them, but we hadn't, and I didn't want to do a wild poo.
You said at the beginning you were because you had to get the train, so I
was stressed about the train because I think I mentioned before on a podcast like Pippin got really scared once on the train to Chepstow. It's like 6 months ago or so now. And ever since then, I've been like really nervous about taking Pippin on the train. Because I was getting nervous about it, then my stomach was getting bad. So I was like, then by the time I got there, I was like, this isn't good. So I was kind of, I was relieved that we
had a great time, is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
it all went really well. Amy nearly shat herself. Jen fell over, and I was still ill, and we cut the run really short. Oh, and then also as we were heading back, just as we nearly got back to the village we started in, there was just this really skanky little mattress on the side of the path next to a dual carriageway, which of course you'll have seen as the episode cover for this episode. What the context of that? I joked and said, there you go, Jen, you can have a nice rest. She went, yeah, okay. And just lay down on this, you often see sometimes just these little really nasty, skanky mattresses.
Yeah, just been fly tipped there.
And she was just, I'll just lay down on it. But the thing is, then she'd lay down on it and was like, oh, this is really nice. Yeah. I'm like, no, it's not. Please, no. Yeah. But then she couldn't quite get up for a while.
Oh, God. And then when we were at the cafe, and we bought her some like, painkillers and stuff. She's like, I should probably only take 2 paracetamol, shouldn't I? I'm like, yes, Jen.
Well, yeah, that's how it works.
And I'm like saying to her, I'm like, okay, Jen, 2 paracetamol. I'm saying when you get home, you can take ibuprofen, but you can't take another paracetamol until 3 p.m.
Yeah. It all went.
She was completely out of it. I was quite worried about her driving home, but she got home safe. She managed to get 2 cans of Coke.
Yeah, we had a good break in the cafe. Paracetamol, can of Coke, and it was fine.
But I know what it's like when you're feeling like that, because I had some really severe headaches after Christmas, and it's horrible. And I was doing things like forgetting how many tablets I'd taken, and it just completely disorientates you.
Yeah, so I think it was actually probably the beginning of a migraine, wasn't it? So there's a good tip for you: don't run with a migraine.
No.
Which is odd to say out loud, isn't it? But apparently it's still necessary.
Yeah.
We'll probably try that again because it was good fun, and I do want to go up. The hill we missed, the Garth, was the big one because we do have to go all the way down to the river, then you have to go all the way up the hill, and that's a big old climb. I still want to take you up there because it'll be funny.
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed it. Like what we did, like it was. Yeah. I'm sure if we'd actually gone up the Garth, that's the point where I would have been like swearing and really upset.
Yeah. That's why I wanted to go.
The bits we did, I really enjoyed. I was feeling fine afterwards. We did 8 miles in the end.
I think probably like 6-7 of those were walked, but that's fine. Time on feet is what we say, isn't it? Time on
feet. There were 6 or 7 weren't walked.
Wow, quite a lot. That's fine. Yeah, we'll give that a go again. Hopefully we can get some more long runs in together before your 6 months of hell.
Oh, yeah.
We asked on Twitter, of course, and on Facebook about other people's stories about running ill. And we've had some excellent replies. We'll start off with Sandra Heinzer, who says, I had to defer my 2021 London Marathon place the night before because of gastroenteritis, and then had to withdraw my deferred 2022 place 6 weeks before on doctor's orders due to severe menopause.
Oh my God.
What is she just like so moody and just getting such hot flushes that she couldn't run?
No, it can make you really ill.
Yeah. I know there's a whole load with it. Oh, yeah. I did a lot of this in my previous job. I believe there are up to 36 recognised symptoms of menopause, and it's a growing issue, and good that he's coming to light now. But having to withdraw from a race 6 weeks before because of menopause, that's a new one to me. Wow. She said, total BS, as had been entering the ballot for what felt like 100 years beforehand. I've probably got more chance of winning the lottery now than getting another place, and it's probably more preferable. Well, it would be more preferable because, money's better than, because you can just buy your way into the London Marathon then. But I did check, and it is only technically more likely. The London Marathon ballot is about 1 in 27, but the overall chance of winning anything on the lotto is about 1 in 9, though the jackpot is 1 in 45 million. So technically, you're more likely to win the lottery, but only like a fiver or something. Yeah. So that's not going to get you into the London Marathon.
No, I do just sod the London Marathon. Do something else.
Do a good marathon.
Yeah. Clark R. Gilmore said, in 2020, I did run every day, oh God, to raise money for Mind. It went really well. I enjoyed it immensely, kept fit and injury-free. But the 2 days I had gastroenteritis were a struggle and had to be planned between the toilet timetable. Oh my God. I've also broken ribs twice in the last 14 months. Running with broken ribs isn't fun. How have you broken your ribs twice in 14 months?
Okay. How are you on a toilet timetable? How are your gastroenteritis are like, right, okay, we're going to have a poo at 2 o'clock and at 5 o'clock. Is that okay? Yep, that's fine. Right, I'll go for a run in between. How are you trusting that? That is too risky.
That is really risky business.
You don't need to run every day. It's fine. Not when you've got some horrible thing like that. Come on. And yeah, also running with broken ribs. I think all of us could have told you that. Don't. If you've done it once, when you break your ribs again, you'd think you'd learn, probably shouldn't run again.
Yeah, but also, what are you doing to break your ribs? Was it the same thing twice? It wouldn't surprise me from what we've already heard.
Yeah, it could have been. It was probably just running and falling over. Gabby Nair said, was feeling squiffy when lining up for the Lakeland 55 in July. After negative COVID test, etc., lined up anyway. Was feeling progressively more squiffy when going along, and within 5k was sweating so much I was leaving a sweat trail after me. And, well, I was grossing myself out. There was that much sweat. And then I did a sensible thing, and at the first checkpoint marched up to the marshal and DNF'd. When I got home, I went for a snooze on the sofa. I finally left the sofa 10 days later to attempt a park run, where I got round, but did have some exceptional heaving. Illness is major BS. Running when ill is not recommended. Running when not realising that one is ill is mega BS.
Definitely.
Good for you, Gabby.
That reminds me of when I had my second COVID vaccine, Moderna. And it was Christmas Eve I had it. And then on Boxing Day, we decided to go for a Boxing Day cycle. I was drenched in sweat because I should say it, like the evening of Christmas Eve, I started to feel unwell. Mm-hmm. And all through Christmas Day, I was feeling really unwell. And then Boxing Day, I thought, I feel okay. Like, let's go out for a cycle. I wasn't okay. And sometimes, like, when you're at the end of something and you're like, let's test it.
It'd probably be all right,
Yeah. I came back. I don't think I've ever sweated so much in my life. And when you get that cold sweat as well, my top was like absolutely drenched. I'd gone really pale. Yeah, horrendous. We've also had a message from Catherine Fenton who said, Ari running while ill, did the RWC 18.5 miler to Ogmore last year, felt ill but did it anyway, ended up walking the last few miles with a heart rate of 195.
Ooh.
Oh, needless to say, I was ill with the flu for over a week after.
At the beginning of flu, that's a bad time to run. I mean, I guess you didn't know at that point, but
yeah,
I'm sure there was a sweat trail there as well.
Yeah, flu full stop is just bad news. And it lasts ages. When I had flu, I've only had flu proper once in my life. And for 2 weeks afterwards, my lungs just felt constantly full of fluid. And whenever I ran, I couldn't breathe properly.
Gross. I've never had flu. I've been lucky like that. I just get lumps in my back that have to be cut out of me.
You know what? Everyone who's had flu knows the difference between flu and cold. Like, you can see why flu kills people. Like, flu is horrendous.
You know what? There's a thing about man flu. And I've seen a lot of people recently, a lot of men saying, I've got man flu. And I'm like, no, that's not the point. That's not what man flu is.
Yeah.
Man flu is you can't reclaim it. I'm not sure if it's some kind of this. It's supposed to mock men who are overblowing a cold. You can't say, I have man flu. That's not how it works. That slightly bugs me.
Yeah.
No reason for it. At Alan Wild said, plan to run the 6 miles from home to my local park run. Had intense pain in the ... on the way. Made it to the toilets near the start line eventually. Paid a visit, passed a kidney stone.
What?
Ran park run.
Oh my God.
I think that's where the pain was then.
Oh my God.
But I guess once you've passed it, you're like, well, might as well run now. That's the worst of it, probably.
Jesus. Helen Patricia said, ran at Selby Parkrun with a bad chest. Managed until halfway, then started coughing non-stop. Carried on running and coughing my lungs up. After the finish, I vommed. Went to Morrison's to pick up their stock of cough meds and Lemsip. Happy memories.
Carried on running is the vital bit for me there. Started coughing non-stop, just carried on.
Yeah, it carried on and just kept going until I was sick.
I think what we're learning from all of these is don't go to parkrun.
Yeah.
There are some unhealthy people at parkrun.
Yeah. People turning up, spreading their flu around and stuff. No thanks.
Oh, that's nasty. At catcam_ says, my bullshit illness story is actually just a complaint about other people, which feels so on brand. Ran a trail half with my sister. I was in the best physical shape of my life and training consistently. She was living a student lifestyle, barely running, and turned up to run in a 25-degree heatwave in Scotland with a kidney infection.
Oh my God.
I mean, you can see which way this is going already, can't you?
Yeah.
Despite my suggestion that combining heat and exercise with a kidney infection wasn't wise, she powered on to the race. We trotted along together for the first 16k quite happily under the blazing sun. Then she announced, I'm feeling pretty good, so I'll just head on for a fast final 5k, and left me in her dust. She did do a fast final 5, and apparently no lasting kidney damage. I staggered up the brutal final hill, a sweaty, slow mess, and felt like dehydrated crap for the rest of the weekend. Fast siblings are bullshit. That is the worst.
Yeah.
Come on. Not only were you're trying to be sensible, being like, are you sure you should be doing this? I don't think it's a good idea. And then she just went and smashed you.
Yeah.
What a bitch.
Yeah. It's these young people, they're just indestructible.
Ugh.
Claire Allison said, I did parkrun 3 days after my mastectomy, complete with a drain full of blood.
Oh.
Allison. Somebody dobbed me into my consultant and I got a massive bollocking when I next saw her laughy face.
That is well-deserved bollocking.
Yeah, you're running with drains.
I understand you want to go and do parkrun. I understand you want to get back out there. Just volunteer, mate. You could have just stood still.
This is why parkrun is a cult. I've said this before, and this is just further proof, further evidence that I can add to my case file about why parkrun is a cult. I swear to God, if they start serving Kool-Aid at the finish, that's when you've got to go. That's when you've got to stop. You know?
Yeah, just say no to that.
Yeah. I've got my eye on parkrun. I've got my eye on them. People running with drains and vomiting because they can't stop coughing, but they're still doing it. No, there's something fishy going on here.
That's the whole thing. Like parkrun, you can stand still. You can just, I mean, you don't have to go, but you can volunteer. You can just stand still in a nice big warm coat. You don't have to run. God.
Cool.
We still want your stories of running ill and or injured. They're always appreciated so we can publicly mock you. We enjoy that a lot. You can support this podcast by going to patreon.com/runningisbullshit and donating money every month. New to the list this month is the awkwardly named David Yellow Mag Teetle. But from the email address, I think it's supposed to be Tittle. So I'm saying basically, Dave, you've let yourself down in a number of ways.
Yeah.
You've done poor. Thank you, but you've done badly.
What does Yellow Mag mean?
I've no idea.
Okay.
I looked at the Twitter profile. It doesn't really give me any. I don't know if it was. I thought it was a brand, but now I can't see anything. Okay. So I don't know. Dave, you've let yourself down, but thank you. Amy, tell us who else is on the list.
Deborah Clark, Gilmore, Nikki Genders, Sophie Jacks, Elliot Line, Charlie Nevison, Victoria Dick, Gregory C. Shambolic, Adel H. Rachel Bentley, Bernadette McCarthy, Karen Hamilton, Carl Fleming, David Tittle, Vicky Robbins, Raymond Quinn, Matt Burrows, Matt Age, Penny Simpson, Andy Nichols, Anthony Howe, Luke Daniel, David Irwin, Sherry Grubbs, Ian Thompson, Matt Wazowski, Elizabeth Shaban, Ivor Hewitt, Matt Lees, Matt McHardy, Richard Crime, Tony House, Elizabeth Reeves, Matt Jones, Martin Kaplan, Matt Newbury, Karen Blade, Debbie Hurley, Adam Atkinson, Gordy Thewell, Viola Grep, Angela Foster-Swells, Ruth Katie, Julia Page, James Lamper, Ian Hales, Catherine Fenton, Claire Davis, Kirk Shepherd, Trish Alton, Jason Spinks, Kath Everett, Kel Ryder, Darren Roberts, Matt Caffin, Jonathan Carter, Dawn Shepherd, Andy Robbins, Francis Howe, Rachel Bullmore, Jewel Running, Claire Dina, AP, Paul Hibbert, Gabriel Thomas Nair, Glenn Martin, Stuart Stevens, Gail Seal, Steve Robson, Sandra Hines, Samantha Benson, Sophie Nichols, Brian Simpson, Noms Dawson, Lisa Gibbon, Jay Howells, Matt Connors, Sam Whaley, Maria Wicks, Jenny Gillespie, Lee Wood, Victoria Magnus, Jay, Amanda Murray Hind, Ashley End, Hardly Think. Hey. I just want to say to listeners, I am so sorry. that was harder than I thought. The thing is, somebody suggested this, didn't they? Call Me Maybe.
Yeah, they did.
Somebody suggested this, and then I remembered that I had attempted this a little while ago and abandoned it, like a lot of my Patreon attempts. Now, if you hear the shit that actually makes it the podcast, you must know that the stuff I abandoned must be really bad.
Oh yeah.
And I thought, like, oh, this seems like a really obvious choice. And then as I was recording it, I'm like, yeah, this is the reason why I abandoned it. It's actually really hard because the backing music is just the same thing over and over and over again.
Yeah, this has not been a good year for us so far, has it? In this, I need to try and step it up next week.
Yeah, definitely. It's all relying on you. You've got a musical theatre degree, so it's all right. This is the ball's in your court with this one.
Right. Okay. I'll try and do better. I'll try.
Okay. Don't forget to get in touch with your running bullshit on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Just search Running as BS and let us know why you particularly hate running this week. Somebody who did just that is at Spoonman Darren. Said, hi, Stuart and Amy. As a regular listener to your show, I know how much you both appreciate the dichotomy of going to the gym. We hate it, but know how beneficial it is, blah, blah, blah. Yep. I've reached a point of almost zero running now due to a buggered lower back and twisted pelvis. My chiropractor is torturing me twice a week, and to top it off, I've now enrolled in a gym membership. Fuck's sake. Haven't been to one for years and I'm dreading it, but if this is the route back to running, then I'll just have to suck it up. Love the show, brackets, hate squats.
You know what, of all the things you could do, squats are probably the best thing.
They are. If I do try to go to the gym once a week, that often doesn't happen, but I do try and go once a week, and when I go once a week, I do squats.
I think, yeah, that's a good core to have.
Yeah. For
your core. This week, I didn't do any kind of exercise. I considered it though.
Yeah.
That's pretty good for me. Like on Tuesday, I strongly considered it. And that is a big step forward for me. So who knows, perhaps in the next few years, I might go as far as lifting something up. Maybe.
I know it's really boring, but it does help.
I know.
If I'm going to the gym and doing squats and stuff, I don't get injured. And if I have any like little niggles, because I haven't been to the gym in a while, and then I go to the gym and I do squats, those niggles disappear.
I've got a barbell. It's not a very heavy one, but I've got it just outside. I can basically see it now. It's about 12 feet away from me. I could use that anytime. It's just sitting there in the garden. The garden's dry. I could just go and use that anytime. I still don't.
Yeah.
Because I just don't want to. No, my excuse currently is my hamstring does still hurt. And it has done for like the last couple of months now. And the way I figure it to myself is I do need to strengthen that hamstring. But while it hurts, I probably shouldn't be doing weights on it. I mean, I'm still running on it like 40k a week. But I'm just thinking I shouldn't be doing weights on it because that'll injure it more. True. So I need to wait till that's bare, then I can do it.
Yeah.
So as long as that still hurts, I'm not going to be doing it. So hopefully I can spin that out for a while.
Yeah, just keep injuring it by running on it. It's fine.
Yeah, that's what I do. Because like while I'm running, it's fine. The worst bit is if even today that we drove back from that run half an hour, me getting out of the car is horrendous. I just look like such a state because I can barely walk for the first 5 steps, and then it kind of loosens off and it's okay. But sitting in my little car for even 20 minutes after a run just makes me look horrendous. I'm sure the neighbours must think they can't believe I'm out running when I come back looking like that. Surely. We've also had this, check it out, the Brooks still painting any old shit on their shoes. This time, it's a 1950s stereotype of Ireland they've called Run Lucky. It's got green, white and orange laces and a 4-leaf clover pattern, just like everything in Ireland. They say, feel lucky from head to toe. Enchant your miles with the Run Lucky Ghost 15. With DNA loft cushioning and pops of orange and green, it'll be luck at first sight.
Oh my God.
I mean, The shoe's fine. It looks perfectly nice, but I'm just surprised. I'm sure somewhere there's a draft where they said top of the morning to be sure. Oh, look at the run lucky shoes, and just like some kind of horrific Hollywood island accent.
I was going to say this has to be American, doesn't it?
Almost. Well, yeah, because they are fucking obsessed with Ireland, aren't they?
Yeah. And somebody who's great granddad's cousin will be like, they were Irish, so they're Irish and they'll buy this.
Oh, they're Irish, yeah.
They'll buy this shoe to show their pride.
Actually, guys, I'm Irish, so this is okay.
Yeah.
But it's just such a. I just wonder, are they going to do some other nationality-based shoes? Maybe like little tricolor shoes with baguette pattern, or a kangaroo pattern shoe with corks hanging off. Any other suggestions?
You could have like Britain and then a pound sign, and it looks like a mountain like going down. Economic decline.
Very, very satirical.
Yeah.
I was just going to go for some cheap stereotypes, but you went right in there for the biting topical news.
The Rishi Sunak special.
I don't know, would that make them incredibly expensive or incredibly cheap?
Well, it depends where you buy them from. If you're buying them in British pounds from another country, very cheap.
They'd be very expensive, but shit.
Yeah, just like...
They would collapse almost immediately.
They just fall apart.
Just like the economy. Way!
I have seen some shoes that are connected to major cities where marathons are held that are quite cool. I could sort of like, if they brought out like Cardiff shoes and it had some sort of design, but like stuff like this is just so tacky. It's just really tacky, isn't it?
Yeah, like if it was like a little like skyline of that particular city or something like that, but just like four-leaf clovers, it's just, oh, come on.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Gross. Not gross because it's Ireland, gross because it's tacky.
Yeah.
Right. It's the bullshit running news. I needed an accent then, that was a bit weird.
You should just go for it, embrace it.
No.
A pile-up has caused chaos at the Valencia 10K after an elite runner fell at the start. The Valencia 10K is known as one of the fastest races in the world. The two fastest men's time in history have been run there, 5 of the top 10 fastest women's times. The images were quite alarming, but the race organisers soon issued a statement to confirm no one had suffered serious injuries, though some runners had bruises and one Brazilian elite athlete had dislocated shoulder. I mean, that's fairly serious if you're running 10K.
Yeah.
I did share this video on Twitter a couple of weeks ago, and it is very funny and then gets really horrible.
Yeah.
Because it's a really narrow start, and obviously the elite runners go at a hell of a pace. They're all sprinting to get out the front, and once one goes down, you're absolutely fucked. It's just they're just getting trampled.
Yeah, and it does look a really tight start, and I guess with the not too long, it was Halloween, wasn't it, last year, with that mass sort of trampling and crushing in South Korea. And so when I see stuff like this, it makes me feel like, oh god, it could so easily turn into something that was really, really dangerous.
So many people are just jumping over the people and just like pushing their way around, but they just kind of have to because everyone else behind them is just pushing them on, so you just have to get out of the way. You can see a lot of people doing that thing of like, oh, I want to help, but I kind of can't, so I'm just going to carry on. But the thing is, it's all you can do in that situation, unless you can literally grab someone. You just need to get out of the way.
Yeah. I think, like, unlike those instances where there are, like, mass tramplings and crushings, there's somewhere for people to go, so you have just got to keep freeing up that space. But it looks so chaotic. And a dislocated shoulder, that's pretty serious.
It's fairly serious.
Yeah. And onto quite a serious story. So a woman in East Memphis, Tennessee, was nearly kidnapped while out on a run. And it was just a mile away from where another woman, Eliza Fletcher, was kidnapped and killed last September, which is absolutely crazy to me that these two crimes have happened so close together and so, over such a short space of time as well. So just before 3 p.m. on January the 18th, a damaged grey vehicle with tinted windows pulled up alongside the 28-year-old woman, who has remained anonymous in all reports. And the suspect in the driver's seat was reportedly wearing a black ski mask and gloves. And then the suspect in the backseat opened the door and attempted to grab her, and the victim ran away screaming for help, which sounds absolutely terrifying. Yeah,
there's not much we can say about this one, is there?
No, there isn't. And it caught my attention as well because it, like I said, it's happened very closely to this other incident, but there's been so many stories coming out of America over the past sort of 5 years really of women being kidnapped and often actually murdered while out running. And I remember back in 2016, there was 3 abductions and murders of women over the space of just a few days in different places in America. So I know we make fun of sometimes the American carrying their guns and stuff while they're running. But I guess with stories like this, it's sort of I can see why it's tempting.
You can see why you'd be scared into it.
Yeah. So quite a serious one there. But it just seems there's been this influx of these types of crimes happening over the last few years in the US.
Yeah, we'll finish with something a little bit lighter.
Yeah.
And a headline from Runners World: do super shoes work for regular marathoners? Well, luckily for you, Runners World, they report on some research which shows that yes, but only a bit. Oh, and the regular runners in the research, they could run 5k in 19 minutes. Those are the regular runners.
Yeah, just regular runners.
And the men could do 5k in 90 minutes. The women could run 5k in 20 minutes. They're just normal, standard, everyday runners, just like you and me. That was the research. I mean, that's just that's not a regular runner. They said under 3 hours 15 is basically that's the pace they were running a marathon. That is not a regular runner.
No, but
that
also,
is way under the average.
Yeah, of course, your shoes could potentially help your performance if they're, you know what I mean? I know they're saying about the super shoes and stuff, but if you're wearing a certain sort of shoe and then you go for something that's perhaps lighter or whatever, that could help your performance. Yeah,
I think this is specifically on the carbon plates and the whole thing of does it give 4 to 5% performance increase? I think that kind of does if you're super elite and you're running on them, really fast. But if you're running slowly, it doesn't give you as much of a boost. But still, their regular runners were not regular runners, so it's still kind of a pointless piece of research.
Yeah, definitely.
Speaking of fairly fast marathons, just a little thing I saw the other day as well. The Hong Kong Marathon has got a little extra bit of prize money for local runners. So for residents of Hong Kong, if they finish the marathon under 3 hours and women under 3.5 hours, they get prize money. And it's
nice.
$1,200. So it's pretty substantial as well.
Yeah.
It's £1,000 for running a super quick marathon. That's a great incentive. I like that.
Yeah.
They said it'll probably cost them about 400 grand, but for their 25th anniversary, they just wanted to extend the prize money to kind of more runners. That's a lovely idea.
Yeah, I like that.
Because prize money is a bit shit. Actually, think about it. £1,000, that is probably more than the actual prize money for a lot of big races in the UK.
Oh, definitely.
Where UK prize money is a bit shit for a lot of big races.
Yeah.
So to get, $1,200 for running a 3-hour marathon, that's pretty nice.
Yeah, definitely. So what have you got coming up next? Any quick marathons for large amounts of prize money?
No, I can't find any around me that will pay me for running a 3-hour marathon, so I'm just not going to bother.
Nah, don't bother.
Probably the first cross country of the season, so I'll be hoping for rain the next week. That's why I want a proper sticky, nasty one, and it's a new venue somewhere. I've run it before, but I've never done cross country there, so hopefully that'll be fun. And then, it's the big one. I'm going to Lapland.
Hey!
Literally going to Lapland. We're going to the Arctic Circle in Sweden. I'm going to do dog sledding and just run around in the snow and take loads of photos of things. So I'm very, very pleased about that. So I don't know when the next episode will be because I'll be there while we're due to do the next episode. So it might be a week late, might be 2 weeks late. Don't know yet. Don't care.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
It's going to be pretty awesome. How about you? Are you going to Sweden?
No.
Holiday? Any dream holidays to fulfill?
No. I next weekend I am running to Clantwick Major from my house. So that'll be nice along the coast path. That's
a very nice run.
Yeah, I'm not really I looked at it. I'm like, I'm sort of guessing it's gonna be between 18 and 20 miles. I don't know. We'll see. So I'm gonna run up there and get the train back. So
very nice. I've not run proper around the coast of Vale Glamorgan for years now. I probably should do again. I think it's one of the ones. I think I've only done it a couple of times. I was like, yeah, I've done that, and I moved on. But I feel I should go back there.
I've never done that entire run. I've run from that way, obviously with the Vogum that goes the other way. But I've gone to Barry and that sort of area, Kenfig Nature Reserve. 50, like 15 or 16 miles. So it's just a bit further along the coast path. So it should be quite nice.
Very good.
Yeah,
good for you.
Hopefully I can do it.
Hopefully.
Yeah, there is a dropout point, Cardiff Airport, there's a train station near there.
It's always handy to have that though.
Yeah, 16 miles. So if I had or even Barry, which is even closer, 14, 15 miles. So if I haven't had enough by that point,
at least if you stop at Barry, you can get some chips.
Oh mate, no.
No?
No, I'll have chips and carry on running a vom.
Oh, fine. Boring. You'll never make an ultra runner with that, actually.
No, I just have liquid. I just have liquid caffeine, and then I have liquid shits. So yeah. Anyway,
good for you.
On
what
that
a place
note,
to finish. Yeah.
If you've enjoyed this bullshit, please visit runningsbs.com to see the show notes and links from this episode and the whole back catalogue, as well as links to our Patreon, merch store, and social medias.
Bye.
Bye.
Hi, this is Ayami Genders. Please join us for the next episode where I look forward to presenting with Ugly Bag of Mostly Water Stewart.